Now there are new questions this morning about the Secret Service response to an Iranian threat to President Trump last month. The president, as you know by now, secretly left Turkey on a different plane than Air Force One, but White House staffers and journalists were allowed to board. The New York Times reports that Iran wanted to shoot down the aircraft with a shoulder-fired missile. Wow. Nancy Cordes is at the White House with more on this story. Nancy, listen, we all know it's the Secret Service's job to keep the president safe, and we want that. But I keep thinking about the crew on board that flight, the journalists on board, the White House staffers. They get on that plane unknowingly. How are people explaining that? Don't their lives matter, too?
Gayle, that's just what I asked the president last night. You'll have a chance to hear what he had to say about it. But, you know, that reporting about the shoulder-fired missile threat certainly helps to explain why the Secret Service went to such lengths to secretly move President Trump off Air Force One and onto this other plane. When I asked him about the operation last night and why Air Force One was allowed to take off at all given the threat, he said that he feels that perhaps the plane he moved onto was even riskier.
I just have to do what they say. They go for safety, and I have to do what they say.
In his first public comments about the secret switch he made last month, President Trump said he only snuck away from Air Force One on an airport catering truck and got on a smaller plane because the Secret Service told him to. He ended up flying on a military 757 from Turkey to England, while reporters and his aides stayed on Air Force One and flew the same route. The Wall Street Journal reports Secretary of State Marco Rubio was among those left on the decoy plane.
Why was it too dangerous for you to fly on Air Force One, but not too dangerous for the press?
I think actually the plane that I flew on was at greater risk. I think it was at greater risk because that would be the plane I think that they would be more likely to go for.
By they, he means the Iranians. And according to new reporting from the New York Times, they knew a lot about his movements in neighboring Turkey during last month's NATO summit, where he was staying, and even which floor he was on. Two U.S. officials told the Times that someone in the vicinity of the NATO summit had been spotted with a shoulder-fired missile, and that there was a specific and credible threat about one being used to target Air Force One, though Trump would not confirm that last night.
Were you worried about a shoulder-fired missile?
I don't worry about anything, to be honest. Whatever it is, you know my attitude, whatever.
Senate Democrats are not whatever about this. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is demanding a briefing on, quote, the extraordinary measures taken to get President Trump out of Turkey, calling it unacceptable that Congress was kept in the dark until the Washington Post broke this story earlier this week. Vlad?
Yeah, looking forward to hearing what they have to say. Also, Secretary Rubio, how he feels about this. All right, Nancy, thank you very much. Appreciate it as always.